Good evening, good evening, good evening. I
Good
trust
evening.
everyone. I love it. I love when I'm getting response from the room. It is yet another quarterly webinar, and my team is here with me, Madam April and Madam Shion. I must apologize for Shion, who is unable to open her camera at the moment, but nevertheless, she's here full supporting. All right, so welcome to another quarterly webinar. Today is a highly anticipated webinar, and we are basically here to hear and see and understand life through a father's perspective. So we're going to look at how fathers cope and how fathers cater to their children who have special needs, because we always talk about mommy having to do a lot of stuff, right? But men process and they experience things in a whole different way. And it's important for us to understand. So take just 2 more minutes and I want you to message the persons who said they were going to be here. Just message and get them on. If they are unable to go on Zoom with us, please ask them to join. If you go to Special Needs JA on Facebook, you will see the live stream there in the post. So get persons here. We're just going to give them 2 more minutes before we begin. Lesson.
Take a sperm donor. You wanna know soldier, how you feel be senior and a neglect your junior. Run when the pressure reach you, Jaja gonna beat you. That's why me have to big up myself, cause me a real father. If I love me son and don't neglect me daughter, take care of me responsibility. Never neglect my bikini. You big up me man for me my real father. Never let him son and don't neglect him daughter. Take care of the responsibility. Never neglect them bikini. When you turn a daddy at the greatest joy. No matter if it is a girl or a boy. You have to take it serious and not die. You have to tough it up. All you need dirty rough. Rough man out the road we see a drive in a range. If them picnic get a plate of food that's strange. And I'll tell no lie. I feel like me I go dead anytime me daughter cry. That's why me have to big up myself, cause me a real father. If I love me son and don't neglect me daughter. Take care of me responsibility. Never neglect my bikini. You big up me man for me my real father. If I let him son and don't neglect him daughter. Take care of the responsibility. Never neglect them bikini.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. So one more time, welcome, welcome. Thank you all for joining us. I know we have some persons from different institutions like the Jamaica University College. We have persons from the University of the West Indies, UTech. Thank you so much for persons who have joined us from overseas, from North Carolina. Come on and raise up. And South Carolina. Thank you so much for the persons from Chapel of Christ or Redeemer AME Church for joining. Persons from Stimulation Plus, thank you all. And persons who I don't know where you're affiliated with, thank you so much for joining. So this evening, as mentioned earlier, we are going to be hearing from the fathers. We have three wonderful, fabulous, awesome dads on the call today, and we are going to kick things off right away. So I pass the baton over to one of the members from the Chapel of Christ or Redeemer AME Church, Miss Nakisha Irvin, who will do the opening prayer, and then we'll turn over to my teammate, April Morgan, who will be doing the introduction of our panelists.
Good evening, everyone. Let us pray. Father God, as we come before you, we just want to thank you, God, for this day. We want to thank you for this seminar. And we, God, ask that you bless everyone on this platform. And I pray, God, that they will not leave the same way they came. We pray, God, for all our speakers tonight, that you cover them, Lord God. We ask you to take control, God, and direct us in the way that you want us to go. Have your own way, right? Even now, mighty God, as we tell you thanks. In Jesus' name, we do pray. Amen.
Amen. Good evening and good night, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening for the Father's edition of Special Needs Advocates for Jamaica. So while my partner is cueing a video that we're going to watch, I am going to take just a brief moment again to thank everyone for coming this evening and to introduce our three awesome dads that are here with us this evening for this awesome event. So we have Mr. Dane Williams. Mr. Williams is hailing us from the beautiful island of Jamaica. He's a correction officer and he has a daughter with special needs. So once Mr. Williams presents, and I'm introducing the guests in the order in which they will speak. Once he presents, he'll share more information and specific details about his daughter's exceptionalities. Then we have Mr. Bernard, who will be following him next. And Mr. Bernard is the maintenance officer for the Jamaican Urban Transit Company, and he has a son with special needs. He's hailing us from the beautiful island of Jamaica as well this evening. And then our third, but not the last speaker for the evening will be Mr. Richie. Mr. Cedric Richie is an author, a trainer, an educational consultant. For the past 17 years, Mr. Richie has served in education as a teacher, principal, and award-winning coach in football, basketball, and track. Mr. Richie has dedicated his career to advocating for students that have been labeled at risk and children with disabilities. Cedric is a father figure to his son and the hundreds of other children he has coached, mentored, and supported over the years. He also volunteers with Special Olympics, and he is with other organizations such as Carolina Mentor, Lutheran Services, and Community Options to support adults with disability. Mr. Richie has a mission to connect with family and children with disabilities for resources to improve their quality of life. He's also a graduate of Benedict College, HBCU here in Columbia, South Carolina, and he's a member of Omega Psi-Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Now I will kick it back to you, Joan, so you can show the video to our guest.
So one child, I only ever wanted to be a dad, so one child was enough at that time, and one turned into two, and so on and so on. My name's Benjamin Carpenter, and I'm a single dad, and I've adopted 5 children, all with additional and complex needs. I was 21 when I first adopted. I knew I always wanted to be a dad. I never wanted biological children, and I knew that my way of becoming a dad would be to adopt. So I took that path. I always felt that I wanted more than one child, but initially I only ever wanted to be a dad, so one child was enough at that time, and one turned into two, and so on and so on. Being a single dad to 5 children is the most wonderful, rewarding experience. Hectic at times, and busy, but loving, and I love it. I absolutely adore it. A day in our lives, well, it's very busy, very hectic, but the house is full of love. At the moment, I'm happy with 5 children, but never say never. There could be a chance of another child in the future. Who knows what fate holds for me. So in the future, I could see myself fostering children. Who knows? At this current time, we have a shortage of adopters, and I urge people to come forward. You know, it isn't for everyone. I get that. I understand that. And you have to be that committed special person to do it. And I'm not saying for 1 minute for people to come forward to adopt children with disabilities. There are sibling groups, there are, you know, older children, you know, and we have new schemes of EPP, early permanence placement, which is, you know, foster to adopt. Do it. It is the most wonderful, loving, rewarding thing you can ever do. And you guys love being adopted, don't you? Yeah. Yeah? So come forward. Yeah.
Mr. Williams, you may unmute your mic, Mr. Dane Williams.
Right, it seemed like he was bumped off. So what we can do, let's jump to Mr. Bernard. So we have him here. Mr. Bernard is ready. His camera open, he's ready. So we just want you to give us some background about you. Just share us a snippet, you know, who is Mr. Bernard?
Well, I'm a technician by trade, as you mentioned, and my father, I would say, in terms of taking care of us on the child. He really takes a lot of attention, energy, care, all of everything that the holistic care of a child more. Because his deficiency is he has a speech impediment. He doesn't speak readily. Certain words are, you just have to just either ask him, like you can assess the surroundings, this immediate situation, and where you think he would need at a specific time, and like pointing towards it, and then we acknowledge it. For the most part, some things we can explain or point words. You know, they won't keep still, always on the move, up and down. So you always have to be monitoring them, make sure them surroundings safe, and then have no impediments around for her in their movement. And in terms of, they're very loving children for the most part, and they're easily educated, and they don't like much changes. If you ever make a mistake, as in with the dress code and shirt or a pants first, don't think you can change in your mind that this one don't look nice and I'm already again change. You're the best with that. Because you might just spoil up the whole going out or the whole movement for that period. So with them, I have to be very understanding, very, 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 very compromising with them. And if you and them going somewhere, you have to ensure maybe 2 hours before the intended targets. Because you don't know what them will pop up with in terms of behavior. The amount of trouble them again. They're just there, good, 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 good. And you decide, say, well, all right, yeah, we're going to bed now. We're going to get ready and whatever. But they might go to the bathroom in the first instance. Then you go to the bathroom, problem for brushing teeth. My son, he doesn't brush his teeth ready. He wants to do it himself. And you know, sometimes you have to ensure that you do the brushing because you know all of the corners and all of the grooves reached us. So he will give me a fight with that and specifically in like brushing here. The brushing here thing is no. So that fight and then this one. But once they get into be once the water touch him, all right. Sometimes it will fight you when you can beat him and then they finish him get us such a lovely thank you, yeah. Like seriously. So all of that. all of that. And then they tell me, oh, thank you, Daddy. So you're welcome. Colin, with your more one laugh more than anything. Because the amount of trouble previously give you, then you feel so cool and then you tell it, thank you, Daddy.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
it's
Awesome.
It's with them. Okay, man.
All right. He's like, okay, no. All right. So what I realized though, because thank you for sharing, first of all, and thank you for being willing to be on our panel this evening. What I realized, which is similar with us mommies, I hope everybody could pick that up. I asked Mr. Bernard about Mr. Bernard and it spilled over to his experience and his son. So a lot of times as parents, because of once we become parents, a lot of our lives, we basically, everything is positioned and we navigate based on our child's needs. And I can see that even based on how you're expressing yourself and everything, that everything surrounds the life of your child, which is very good. A lot of people kind of shy away and run away, especially children on a whole. They have a lot of things, or a lot of, how would I put it? There's a lot of challenges, just children on a whole, right? Because they're learning each day. This is a new environment for them. Everything is new each day for them. But we have to help them. And then when the child has a special need now, there's an added challenge because you now have to see the world through their eyes, feel the world through their, their bodies, in terms of if they're hypersensitive to something or hyposensitive to something. Everything, it rests on how they're processing everything that's around them, right? I'm going to add Mr. Richie so that he can share now, and then we're going to continue this discussion through question and answer. So, Mr. Richie, welcome to the forum. That's my radio voice. Welcome to the forum.
How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Awesome. Awesome.
So briefly, I think your question was give you a brief background of myself. I'm an educator by trade. I'm an overall social person, lover of people and knowledge in general. I'm a simple country boy from Virginia. small town, Lynchburg, Virginia. Currently reside in Columbia, South Carolina. And so that's what I've been doing as an educator for the last 17 years. After sports and everything, it was my passion to give back to kids that kind of grew up in the same position that I did, and help those students that are a little bit less fortunate achieve something in life.
Thank you so much for sharing, Mr. Richie. And I'll just go right into our questions. I realize Mr. Bernard jumped off. As soon as he comes back, we'll add him again. Mr. Richie, I know Mr. Bernard mentioned for his side, but what is the exceptionality that your child has?
So Cedric is a medically fragile, medically complex child. He has a genetic disorder, and it's a rare disorder. I can't even call it off the top of my head, but the results of it are, it has caused him to have a seizure condition, epilepsy. He is nonverbal, walk. He doesn't talk. He is fed with a G tube, so he's total care. He just turned, and I remember he was undiagnosed for the first 10 years of his life.
What?
Yeah. So the first 10 years of his life, there was no diagnosis. There was just, everything was negative normal. Although we could clearly see that wasn't the case. We just didn't have anything to kind of, pin it on. It wasn't until further genetic testing came that they were able to kind of outline his condition that affects the third protein link in the 5 chains, which threw off everything else. To our knowledge at that time, he was the only African American and the only male that presented that way anywhere. So we didn't have anybody else to compare it to.
Wow.
And that's where he stands. He's a healthy little kid. He's a healthy little kid, as healthy as he can be.
Yeah.
Right now, big boy. Just a regular little boy we gotta take care of. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I love the fact that, well, of course, you would know as an educator by trade that it's people first, right? So how did you cope? Because you said that you knew that wasn't the case when there was no diagnosis, but when the diagnosis occurred, like, how did you cope? How were you coping before that, and then when the diagnosis was known?
So before that, I like to say that doctors themselves, they practice medicine. It's called doctor's practice, and they practice things to get answers. And for myself, I just did a lot of reading. I just went to educate myself on the medical process so that I could have, genuine and educated conversation when I talk to people about them. And his mother did the same. And that allowed us to really be able to have, to be better advocates. I dealt with it personally through just faith, I think increasing your faith is important, but not just having the faith, but actually exercising the faith that, you really believe what you say you believe. And it didn't change when I got the diagnosis, right? Because, no diagnosis was going to change how I felt about my son and what needed to be done. So I just needed to really focus on what needed to be done. And once I got comfortable enough I knew that I could care for him, it really didn't matter the diagnosis, because it wasn't going to change how I needed to care for him and how I viewed him. So for me, I think it was just learning the two things that I think stood out for me to cope with it all was faith and perspective. Those are two words that that kind of really changed my personal life was having the right perspective on things and really exercising the faith that we say we have sometimes in the most difficult times.
Awesome. I like that. Faith and perspective, which is very important because that is actually what makes or break us as parents, as caregivers, our perspective and leaning on the faith, as you said, that we profess, you know, it's important. Mr. Bernard is now on. I think we can add him, spotlight him. So we'll jump to Mr. Bernard. Mr. Bernard, can you hear us now? Is he connected?
Yes, I can.
I think that's him. All right, so we were talking about coping. When did you find out the diagnosis for your son, Mr. Bernard? And how did you cope before and after that diagnosis?
I found out when he was about 2 years old.
Okay, what did you notice? Because I know you mentioned that the speech impediment, but was there anything else that you saw at the time?
What? Until the truth is not, we didn't really identify it because it was told by some friends that I think his son needs to be checked. I don't know how you take it, but I think his son needs to be checked. And why? Because you see, because you grow with you having from a small coming right up.
Right.
Like, the deviations is like you just gravitate to it and just think, with somebody looking on.
Right.
Notice the differences. I mean, because they have previous experience with it, them could readily identify, but because we new to it, we wouldn't really pick it up as quick.
Right. Okay. And then that's when you went to get him assessed, or?
Yeah, well, after that, shortly.
So you weren't in any denial, Mr. Bernard, like, no, not my child, he's fine. He'll just get there, because at 2, some parents would be like, well, he's still young, he's going to get there. Maybe he's just a little late, but he'll get there. Because sometimes we take a long time to accept that there is something that needs to be looked at.
I wasn't really in denial. Really in denial. Because if you're checking money is okay, but if you don't check him and you don't give him the proper assistance from early, then you will be in problems. Because then the difference, they even advise that. So the earlier you attack it, the better it is for the child.
Yes.
So
That's important.
I got him checked.
Okay. And then how did you cope? What are some of how did you navigate your life finding out the diagnosis at that time?
It was kind of somewhat heartrending and somewhat anticipating what this would be, and mainly hope the best at the end of the day. I hope that they would grow it out. The greatest thing with my son, he wasn't greatly affected out of the norm or out of a normal child's activity. That was what I was happy mostly about. That is not as bad as some of the cases I've seen. So he was mild. So the deviation was pretty not far off from the norm, like the lateness of the speech, and so that was more evident. But the behavior wasn't all that out apart from the nine and the hyperactivity, which most even some normal children have hyperactivity.
Oh yes,
It's
typical
kinda,
children are on up and down. Yes. Okay. All
yeah.
right. Excellent.
Alright, so
Excellent. So question for both fathers here. I'm not seeing Mr. Williams, so maybe I know he had some connectivity issues. But question for Mr. Bernard and Mr. Richie. I know both fathers, they are experiencing this in different area codes, so to speak. So one person right now is in the States, one person is in Jamaica. And though the challenge is similar, and a lot of persons kind of think one is well off where another has more issues. How was it difficult getting assistance in terms of for school, or depending on the uniqueness of the exceptionality? Was it difficult getting assistance from the States? Was it difficult getting them into a learning environment? Because I know for some special needs, you want to focus on life skills more than academics and different things like that. What was that journey for you, even though you're still on the journey?
well, for me, it wasn't all that challenging. Because as I said, because he wasn't way out of the spectrum, he could have been reintegrated in the regular stream, but in order for him to capitalize more on his strengths, got him directly into a school that directly facilitated those needs and
Or
could have
special needs? Oh, okay.
help him greater with the deficiency. Yeah.
Okay,
Because
got you.
he went into a regular school earlier, but in order to channel him through the right path or in the right
Right.
path, it is better to get him into a school that is identified or acknowledged by the government. That you
Yes.
could you will reintegrate him smoother in the other stages, and then to try cross him over from a regular school and then jump in a program that they would ensure him. What do you call it? The teacher always emphasizes his motor skills and
Yes.
his
Yes.
cognitive
Cognitive. Yes.
learning. She always
Right.
reiterate that.
And
Teacher and
just
cognitive, yeah,
for,
and teacher always emphasize that.
yes. And teacher is the name of a teacher at the school that he attends. And just for our viewers,
Yeah, that must is in the crowd.
right. And just for our viewers to understand, because I know we may have viewers who are not familiar with certain terminology. In terms of special education, there are a lot of schools or institutions that say they offer special education or they offer programs for special needs, but a lot of times it's just what we would call basic. So it would only cater to, say, very mild cases, whereas some children would need more life skills. They need to focus on specific things to help them to operate independently or with assistance in our wider society. And it's very important to understand that instead of just trying to push the child into a regular mainstream institution. So we have to understand what the needs are for the child first. So I hop over to Mr. Richie for him to share his experience.
So for Cedric, so currently, he's educated at home. So his teacher actually comes to the home to provide care for him there. Okay, can you hear me?
We
Okay.
can, we can.
All right. So he currently is educated at home. It wasn't really hard as far as finding the education thing. What I will say is finding out what resources were there was extremely difficult because as a parent, you don't really know everything that is available for you as and for your child. So you have to look at things that are there. You know, you have to do some research. So it really caused us to kind of research some things, and we were able to find some great resources for him. But that information isn't readily available. So it was kind of frustrating at first, just trying to find resources, because first of all, you need to know what you are finding resources for, and then what resources can be available to have you live as normal a life as you possibly can. And those things, you know, were not as readily available. His mother did an outstanding job with researching those things. And that, you know, really made a big difference in his overall care. As it relates to, I heard you talking about children with disabilities. The school that I work at services a lot of students with disabilities. Some of them are total care. Some of them are different spectrums of autism. Some of them have different behavioral and cognitive disorders. And it's really important, like you said, for us to really kind of mainstream what is going to be the best, not only academic, but social environment for those children to thrive in. Being a caregiver and understanding both spectrums from an educator and from a parent, I think is very important for all parents and all families. Really want their children to be able to live as normal a life as they possibly can and as independent as they possibly can at their level. And I don't think that's any different than any other parent. I think it looks different with the children that we have to serve.
Awesome, awesome. And that is definitely what we should focus on. That's top priority. And I love how Mr. Richie keeps jumping ahead of me. No shade, no shade. No, that's fine. Because I was actually going to jump to the spouses. So you're the what would we say, the superstar for the transitioning. So I was actually going to ask, how is it in terms of how did it affect from the beginning, of course, till now? How has it affected your relationship with your spouse? You know, what's the dynamic? So you shared a little bit about that, Mr. Richie, in terms of the fact that mommy would always would do a lot of the research, so she did a very good job on that. But outside of that, has it affected your relationship? How has it affected you in that regard?
Oh, well, that's a loaded one. Statistically, I think it's 55 or 60% of parents of special needs children don't stay together. I hesitate to say that that my son had any impact on our relationship from a relational standpoint. I think what's very important is when you have a child with special needs, for anybody or any children, right, that you don't get into the blame game. Because of perspectives a lot of times, because a lot of times people feel like, you know, one is more involved or one is not more involved, or one cares more or one is hurting about this more than the other. And there's a lack of communication, I think, that causes. But the relationship itself, or relationships in general, should be enhanced by the children. So I think that if you're asking me personally, my son did not have any impact on how I handled myself in my relationship. I think that the stressors, obviously, of having a child with special needs, they present different stressors on a relationship than would be a typical developing child. But the same thing that any relationship needs to survive or that any relationship needs to thrive is the same thing that it needs with a special needs child. So I think it's an easy scapegoat, but you know, if it doesn't do more to strengthen it, I think it could. I think it can help. It causes you to communicate more. You should. You should. You have to communicate more, if nothing else, about what's going to be the best needs for your child. And I think that having a special needs child, it should ultimately bring out the best individually in people. It doesn't always play out that way, but it should. But I hesitate to say that the children are problematic or that they are responsible for adult relationship issues. I think you have to you know, have reciprocity and feed what feeds you.
Awesome, awesome. I put the same question to Mr. Bernard. Mr. Bernard, were there challenges as a result of this? How has it affected your relationship with your spouse? How is the dynamic having a child with special needs in the home? I guess it's loaded here too.
Right. It was challenging. I suppose even went as far as saying it seemed as if my love the child more than she.
Okay.
So I say really. If me love the child, at least if me love the child, you know, must love the very love. You must very love. If you love the child, how can you not love the person that brought the child? But unfortunately, we're not still not together. So I don't know if that had hurt.
Okay. Right. Okay. Understood. All right. So the dynamic in both households are different, right? Okay. So as Mr. Richie,
she assists and do what she can.
Right.
I'm the main person taking care of the assistance.
So your support system outside of the mother of your child would have been like your family members and other persons basically pitching in to assist. Okay, right. And for everyone it's different. And in terms of communication, because you said that she helps too, in terms of communication, how is that now that the dynamic has changed? Is there, would you consider it you are able to communicate more even though it has changed for both of you?
No.
So it's the same that, right?
No, it lets by far coincidence that she's not here directly with him.
Oh, okay, understood. So we pray that it becomes better, because the child benefits from, you know, having more communication and all of that. So even if the parents, for example, and this is for every household, you know, even if the parents aren't together, you know, it is important to still have a healthy environment, you know, both for the parents and the child.
She call him and check up on him and spend time with him sometimes.
Right. Okay.
Go to his grandparents and so.
That's right. So everybody, that's good to have a good support system.
Yeah. In our lives too.
Right. So your support, you have a good support system nevertheless. So that's a good thing.
And him appreciate it.
That's of course, then of
Like when
course.
him go, like when him go with his grandparents in the country, him love that. So when I run down the foul them and him love the greenery and the bush and the
For
space.
those overseas, fowl, what we call fowl, in other words, we're talking about the chickens, okay? The chickens.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much, Mr. Bernard. And then you mentioned about the child going to grandpa and grandma. My next question for both fathers is, when do you find time for yourself as fathers? How have you handled your own mental health, emotional health, physical health? How do you navigate with the need, with having to, be there for your child too? When do you get time away, and how do you do that, if you do that? I'll ask Mr. Bernard first, and then Mr. Richie, you can go after.
But the truth, it seems as if I don't handle that section very well at all because I don't have no time for myself. Come on, we always like wash, press, and then sometimes periodically look about stuff and something for him because that's his main course of meal.
Right.
Even one time I realized one day, I say, wait, I feel weak. I feel right. Oh, go on. Let me take a stop. Me make how much course of meal for him and me don't eat anything. So me end up weak and something. I say, wait, like seriously? So it sometimes you give so much attention, so much care to them. That they're okay and not necessarily paying
Take
attention
care
to
of
your
yourself.
own self, your own
And they need
well-being.
you. They
Yeah,
need you. So you can't fall off and not take care of yourself, because they need
exactly.
you at your best.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that is something you have to work on, Mr. Bernard.
Yeah,
I have to
seriously.
go work on that.
Terribly.
Terrible. So we're gonna have a nice parent support group here, where we are in Jamaica. Have a nice one where we can do some mental health and workouts and stuff. If it's even 15 minutes for the day, that's a lot, because we as parents, we don't take time to take care of ourselves, because as you mentioned, even in the beginning, everything is based on the needs of your child. So you get lost in the midst of it, right? And that's something that we have to identify and tackle every day.
It wouldn't seem as if because we know them have the deficiency, we try go all out just to try compensate to make them as comfortable as possible. We just try to get them normal, or just try console yourself to try just come to grips with those.
Right. Awesome. So we're gonna work on that. Yeah, we have a promise. We're gonna work on that, because we need our fathers. We need them. We need you. All right, Mr. Richie, how about you? How do you take care of yourself? And I guess what do you do?
Well, I could say that, and previously, right, it was very unhealthy. I think having unrealistic goals for yourself and unrealistic ideas of what you can do as a man. None of us really wear a cape, and none of us are really Superman, although we try to be. I think I just did a lot of unhealthy things. You overwork yourself. You don't get rest. You don't eat well. You don't do the things that you need to do. And so I was guilty of all those things. And in some ways, I think being a father and what we identify with as being a man will always have us on the job and always have us going. I have since learned to take some time. It's kind of hard for me, even with the job that I do, and my position, and as men, if you're going to be a leader in your home, a leader on your job, a leader in your community, it's kind of hard because you're always on call, so to speak. So even sometimes when you're asked to relax, you're still expected to perform. So I play basketball. You know, my coworkers, they'll tell me I'm too old to be playing basketball. I need to sit down somewhere, but I'm gonna keep doing it because I like it. So I get out there and I play with my little team, and so I can be competitive, and I like to compete. That little bit of time, although it's like when we start, it's only 1 hour, 1 day a week, is everything sometimes, because it just puts me in a different space where I can just, you know, be one of the guys. And I think that's necessary. So that's what I do. Besides watching sports and doing other things like that, that's kind of what I do.
Awesome. So you gotta keep playing. We don't care what no one say. We
I'ma
gonna
keep
play
playing.
basketball.
I'm gonna keep playing.
Oh my gosh, hilarious. All right. Madam April has a question for the fathers. Go ahead.
Okay, so this question is for the fathers. My question is, how do you discipline with love, knowing that all children, with and without exceptionalities, need discipline? How do you discipline when the little one has done just a little bit too much and need that guidance, that love, and that redirection?
For our children in particular?
Yes, for your son in particular, yes. How do you discipline?
So, I mean, to be quite honest, I've never been in a position to discipline my child. I think for me, it was the opposite. My child helped discipline me. He helped create a level of discipline and a level of accountability in me that I would not have experienced if I wasn't his father. So that helped. If I was going to say how I have disciplined the children that I father that are not my biological children, I would say fair, although it's not always equal. So fair but not equal, and to temper justice with mercy. Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Bernard.
For me, sometimes it's taking away the gadgets from him, man. Sometimes them say you not to clap them, you know, why sometimes them him get 1 and 2. Because even the other day I realized I was in the living room and he was in the room watching the TV. He have a TV in our room on the wall, and he have a keyboard, so I normally navigate with it and play whatever I want to watch. So he came into the living room and said, Daddy, it's broke. It's broke. I said, what's broken? Like I said, the television is broken. It's broken. It's not working. I said, really? I said, what? I don't understand what they're saying. When we go into the room, see this the party in flat screen TV mashed. So I said, what happened, Colin? What happened? Broken, Daddy. It's broken. Mazalan, it's broken. So I said, what did you do? He like him shrugging his shoulder. It's broken. So anyway, I can remember going at the bathroom and I said, man, try assess how if he stand up on the bed and stretch over and mash it or what. But then when I observe, I realized that the screen has some crab, like some mark. You see, like, cause the keyboard is a cordless keyboard. So like he would have swing it. It look like he swing it. So me see the mark them. So me never attack him same time. So same time me realize so me try to find every evidence as to accident eliminate. When me look, me see the marking. So me say the only way the screen could have those marks is if you consistently swing something and it hit more than one. So me give him 2 clap. Me give him 2 clap. And me say you not to do that. Not to do that. Look what you did. Look what you did. You broke it. It's not gonna work. I said, Daddy, it's broken. I say, yes, it's broken. What are you gonna watch? Even on the internet of it, man. We'll try to get back at TV.
On TV,
So
yes. Oh
him
my.
not have nothing for what. So him won't give me a break with my phone. So even now, we out here doing this now. I feel environment.
Oh.
It push you. You have to really, you have to contain yourself sometimes because then put
Yeah.
to the limit. So you have to just take a deep breath each time and just assess and just say they have issues. So you have to just learn. The one thing you teach as a parent of a special needs child is patience.
Yes.
Patience, assessing
Yes.
and be better car now. You just always have to take a deep breath before you make any move or make any decision. Just take a deep breath.
Right.
Don't act immediately as to the response they would want.
Right.
You notice them. It's sometimes them definitely that them with a kind of easy base and it bad. Like just talk to them and then stare straight at the face and do the same thing to see a response. Sometimes you have to just say, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're not to do that. You're up them apart. And you hear them say, Daddy, not to do that. Not to say, yes, you're not to do that. Once you be too harsh with them, you're not gonna reach nowhere because coming at them just so the more calm and the more loving you be to them for the most part, you will get better. And boy, and I tell them.
Yes. That's true. That's true. And one thing we have to learn, as you mentioned about patience, if we as parents of children who have special needs and exceptionalities, if we have to say to ourselves and constantly remember they are children with different needs. You know, and when we say that, we kind of understand from the perspective of they're typical children, but they just have specific needs. You know, I know that, like, for just from experience, my daughter will climb the dresser or climb a whole stack of things to get to the television just to hold it, because she likes to hold everything she's using. That's how she explores. But for something like that I know will it not working, I have to ensure that no matter how far she tries to climb, she will not touch it or try to take everything out that she could climb on top of, you know? So we as parents, we learn all of these different strategies from these experiences. And I just had one final question. April, do you have any more questions? I had one final one.
No, thank you.
All right, no problem. So my final question for both fathers: what advice or words of encouragement would you give to other fathers or other dads who are raising children who have special needs? We're gonna allow Mr. Richie this time, so we're going to kind of spin it again. Mr. Richie, you can start this one, and then Mr. Bernard.
If I had to give advice, I would tell fathers that it's okay not to have the answers. It's hard to have the answers when you don't know yourself, and you feel like you need to provide security or some type of safety as your job as a father. And I think that fathers don't really really understand that sometimes, and we end up doing a lot of things that we maybe shouldn't as a result trying to protect. I think it's also important for the women that have or communicate with those fathers to understand that, you know, we're also human, that we're not perfect, and that, you know, we don't have all of the answers, and that we may not ever have all of the answers, and to give us a sense of grace that is expected for you guys. But if I had to give fathers that advice, I would say it's okay not to have all the answers. It's okay to be scared sometimes, and to find you a good friend or somebody that you can talk to. I'm a witness that it's not healthy to always internalize. You have to be able to speak freely. You have to be able to speak openly, and hopefully, that's to a person that's gonna listen to you, and that's also going to not only just listen to you, but also give you some accountability factors to help you along the way. So find you a core group, a board of directors, if you will, to help govern you and help govern your actions, and to be solid and secure in your imperfections.
Go ahead, Mr. Bernard.
Okay. For me, any encouragement that I give you, father, is try and be there for your child and be a support as you possibly can, and be loving, and just be there and try to get information as to ways and means of being able to care for your child in terms of the shortcomings that they have. But not being there is worse. So they encourage them just to be supportive, here for the child, and try to get as much information as you can, and get into groups or get the info available, and try to solicit advice from entities that are experienced and excel as much as they possibly can with what is available, with what you're exposed to. What the key thing is just to be there, be supportive, and try to let them live and carry on and as like the mothers can do it alone, and as fathers that are alone can't do it. They have to get this. As you said previously, we need to spend like have we time or sometimes to unwind as others, but they can unwind with them and give you good advice. If you're just there and buckle by yourself, it will overwhelm you. Because sometimes when the pressure comes on, sometimes you just feel like just cry. And I said, boy, why? But it just the love for your child, and when you want to see the best for them, so you just have to give your all in every way possible, just to have the best outcome for them at the end of the day, and not everybody can say you did it. So that's my advice.
Awesome. Thank you so much, I don't want to jump into the vote of thanks, but thank you so much, Mr. Richie, Mr. Bernard, for sharing. I want to have just a few minutes, probably 5 minutes. We can take probably 2 questions out of the audience. I'm here looking at Facebook Live because we have an audience there as well. And we have our audience here on Zoom. Are there any questions for our fathers? You can either type it in the chat or you can open your mic and ask the question. So please share your question so that we can direct them to our fathers here.
Hi, John. This is Barbara Morgan. Can you hear me?
Hi, yes, we can. Hi, Madam Morgan.
Thank you. Before I ask a question, I just want to say deeply to the father, it is such a pleasure to know that it's, you know, it's hard to find a father of what we call quote unquote normal children, and to find these exceptional fathers with their children with challenges that see fit to stand in their right position that God has placed them in. I give it to them. I give them their flowers.
Oh, yes.
Now, my question is to the gentleman. I teach Sunday school and I teach children, and some of the children in the Sunday school, they do have challenges, maybe not as much as some are mild, some are behavioral challenges, some are attention challenges. And I myself is not a parent or acquaintance with children of that caliber. So how is it? And sometimes the parents just dump them off at the Sunday school and they're gone, not realizing that you're putting them in the hands of someone who really are not capable of handling the situation when you have, you know, 10, 15 children in your Sunday school. What's their advice? How do I calm it down, handle it?
Are these male children, female children, or a combination?
They're mixed. To be honest, the ones that I get the most pushback from are the male children. I get a lot of pushback from the male, and ages 7, 8, 9, that ages.
So I think this is pretty much an issue throughout all education. Historically, education has been delivered through a female perspective, meaning that there is a lot of sit and get. Young males, especially young males, don't typically learn like that. They're more kinetic learners, and they need to be up. They need to do an activity first to engage their bodies, to really unlock their minds.
Okay.
It's a little difficult to come, because I remember going to Sunday school, and I remember I don't know if they still get the little butter round cookies, and we used to eat those and the little juices. And I remember having to sit and listening to them. But if you have them engage in an activity where they're creating something and they're actively doing something while they're learning, I think that it will control the behaviors, and it will control the focus, because it will make them focus on the activity while they're learning.
Okay.
We just typically don't learn like that, and I think that's more of a nature thing. We just typically, you know, are not as diligent and as detailed as our female counterparts, because we all know that females mature a little bit faster than guys.
Right. Because I do have a couple of children in my class, Sunday school class, that they do have special needs. And, you know, sometimes I try to communicate with the parents as, hey, how do I communicate with your child? And I wish some more parents and men were on this, because some parents find it, I think, shameful to admit that their children, you know, are special needs and need special attention. So, you know, that's where I'm trying to open up, or, you know, to the children or even to the parents, because like I said, I that's not my experience. You know, I don't have children on my own, or, you know, teach children or even educated in that way for children of special needs.
Yes, ma'am. I think somebody was talking.
No, go ahead.
I think we also have to remember that the parents may not have the skill set either. And sometimes I know as an educator, we tend to believe that the parents, because they're parents and they're the parents of those children, that they have the necessary skill set to give that child the best that they need to develop. And the hard reality is some of our parents are not equipped to deal with the things that they have to deal with their own children. So I think a lot of times they're still learning how to provide and how to be the best advocate for their children, just as well as we as educators are trying to help them as well. So communication is important to, you know, get feedback, but also give them solutions. They may see it. Some parents accept things and accept situations different at different times. But I think offering some gentle solutions will maybe help them in the acceptance process, while also start their minds working as to how they can better assist and provide for their own children.
Thank you for your communication. Thanks a lot.
Yes, ma'am. Hope I answered your question.
Yes.
You're muted, Joan.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here I am saying, oh, yes, thank you. I saw Marcia on mute, so I was just checking if there was another question from our audience. I'm not seeing a question on our Facebook. Go ahead.
I just want to give thumbs up to the fathers them tonight, because in society these days, being a male or getting children doesn't make you be a father. In society today, you ain't have much of those left. It's a few. So for those fathers that have those special need kids and they have, you know, challenges, patient, which I listened to both of you speak, and it seems like you have patience with them. You're going to need a lot of patience, but in between, you got to try to squeeze in a little time for you. Doesn't matter how small it is, try to squeeze something in between. If it's even when they nap time, try to do something for you. And it is very good, just sit back and listen, you know, because some parents have a child and they have special need, they will be pointing finger, and sometimes they get frustrated. I can't do this anymore. I can't bother with them anymore. No, you got to love upon them. When I say love upon them, you got to love upon them, believe me. And Father, thumbs up to you tonight, because it's not many men out there today is father. Or should I say the word, they're sperm donor. It's not. I'm only being honest. They're not father. They're a male. They just wear the pants, but, you know, they just get them, but they're not a dad. They're not a father. It's a different being a male, different getting a child, and being a parent. Being a father, it's a big difference. So thumbs up to you guys, and continue. Have the patience and do what you do best and love upon your child.
Okay.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for that, Marsha. And thank you for your question, Miss Morgan, who was on one of our panels some months back. Miss Morgan is the sister of April Morgan, who's on our team here. Thank you so much. Before we wrap up, I know Miss Morgan was talking about Sunday school, and I saw in the chat the church can try to have programs with the parents. We had a webinar some quarters back, if I should say it that way, where we targeted ministers and churches to, you know, cater to children with special needs as well. So we will be sharing with the audience here. Please leave your emails in the chat if you're not a part of our contact list, where we will be assisting with doing some one-on-ones and having training in terms of understanding special needs, understanding special education, so you can incorporate it in your Sunday school curriculums. So we'll keep you updated regarding that. So thank you so much for raising that. And we are here to assist in helping to bridge the gap so that we can have a more inclusive society. I will jump to Shion. Are you able to open your mic, or should I still jump to April?
You can jump to April, but I'm able to open my mic. April.
Well, that answers my question. All right. So thank you so much, fathers, for sharing with us. Again, kudos to you both. Your flowers. If I could throw some virtual flowers at you, I would. But thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to jump to April, who will do the vote of thanks as we wrap up.
Okay, good night again, everyone. And the vote of thanks here, a shout out to my three sisters that are on the call. That's Marcia, Barbara, and Joan. They are all on the call tonight, so thank you. And everyone else, Mr. Chandler is here.
Me?
No, the Joan Morgan. And then Mr. Chandler is also here too. He was one of our previous guests. Our dads that are here, all of our guests that are here this evening, and everyone, thank you for making this possible. We appreciate you. We appreciate your time. Please share this video with everyone else that did not get an opportunity to join us this evening, as well as both of the dads. You all are very patient, very kind, and very loving. And thank you for that.
Thank you. Miss April, can you say that again? I got some coworkers on here that don't think I'm real patient. So can you say that again?
Sure.
I mean, just for the people in the back, so they can really hear.
People in the back, these two fathers, when they were speaking this evening, you could hear the passion and the compassion and the love in their voice, even with the specific questions that I asked. And Mr. Richie and Mr. Bernard, just to let you know, both of you fellas enabled my sisters to speak on the camera tonight. You all are some bad fellas, I'm telling you. All that love and compassion. But also too, just to let the audience know, Mr. Richie is an author of a book. I don't know if he has it beside him so he can show it to us. And it does talk about his journey with his son as well. I forgot to mention that.
Yes, yes.
And no, I do not have a physical copy beside me, but
you can pull up the pic. Do you want to pull up the pic in your email, April, if you're connected on your laptop? Just, pull it up so that we can share screen, just to let them see the cover, because it's important. We as parents are the best advocates for our children. And I think, you know, once persons are doing and making persons more aware and all of that, we should share it with each other, because, you know, everyone has a story and every story is unique.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really? April. You
I was
kind of have to take. You're
Trying to
gonna have
hurry
to
it.
take off the back if you're not gonna share screen.
Okay, I'll drop it in the group. Continue talking.
Yes. Oh, do you have a link, Mr. Richie, that we can purchase the book? You can probably drop the link in the chat, and I
Okay.
can put it in the Facebook chat as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. All right. I'll just drop it in the Facebook chat. So we want to say thank you not only to the persons here on Zoom, we want to say thank you so much to the persons who are watching on Facebook Live as well. On Special Needs JA, if you're not following us, please ensure that you are. So for those, I'm going to put it in the chat, but for those who are listening, it is Linktree. Everybody knows Linktree, linktr.ee/CEDRICK.Richie. That's RICHIE. Linktree/Cedric.Richie. And you can get the direct link to his book, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell
You
me
can
the
order.
title. Go ahead, go ahead.
The title is called Silent Conversations Through the Eyes of My Father. And you can order it straight from there. When you order it, you can put where you want it shipped, and I will sign it and ship it to you.
Awesome, awesome. All right, awesome. And also, thank you, many thanks to our participants. Thank you to our guest participants, Nakisha Irvin from Chapel of Christ our Redeemer, AME Church in Kingston, Jamaica, who shared with the prayer. And we thank our team members who are with us as always, April Morgan, Shian Carter. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Please remember, if you have not already, please put your email addresses in the chat so that we can keep you updated. If you want to be a part of our list or contacts, put your emails in the chat. So each time, okay, there it is. Awesome. You can see the book. Awesome. So we can keep you updated on each quarter, every webinar, and you can actually join our mailing list. So thank you once again, and over and out. Blessings.